Roelly reveals something very interesting that nobody seems to be talking about. So your boy Ego will talk about it in this video. I'm going to break it down, what Roelly said. Mind you, Roelly just beat Ryan Garcia, and he did it in such a way where it was very convincing that he had Ryan Garcia's number on that given night. So find out what Roelly said in this video. So a brand new interview was uploaded with Roelly, fresh off his victory versus Ryan Garcia. And the host actually told him, I lost some money because I didn't really think you were going to win. And Roelly like jokingly said, F you, blah, blah, blah. But the host told Roelly to his face, like, and mind you, Roelly had been on this particular show before and gave him an interview, but the host, came clean and said, I really didn't think you were going to win. So therefore I lost money. But anywho, Roelly said and revealed something that is interesting. He said that Turki, the organizer of the event and owner of Ring, went to Ryan's corner and almost like gave him a pep talk. He says, quote, Turki went to Ryan's corner and said, what are you doing? Throw some punches, right? And it sounded like Ryan was losing the fight at some point. I don't know, because he wasn't specific in terms of the round, but apparently Ryan was losing the fight, and Turki motioned to Ryan's corner, like, throw some punches, what's good? And my thoughts are very simple. For one, that is not a good look. It's not a good look, and it's an indication of what we really know and what I've been telling you, that the fight card was trash. Because why would the organizer get up out their seat and go to Ryan's corner and try to like rally the troops? So it goes to show you that everything I said in my commentary was true. The fight was atrocious. It was an abysmal affair, and my assessment of that was dead on. But deeper than that, I'm starting to wonder, is this gonna be a pattern for Turki Al-Sheikh? Because it's kind of weird. What do I mean? So I've already reported in the past that Turki Al-Sheikh almost did something similar when Hamza Shiraz was fighting in Saudi Arabia, and he was fighting against Carlos Adames, a champion. And in that video, in that report, I told you guys, Turki got out of his seat, went to Hamza Shiraz's corner in the championship rounds, and he tried to give him, he succeeded, but he gave him the scorecards. And he said, you're down by 2 rounds, knock him out, get a knockout, and let's go home, basically. So you need a knockout, come on, step it up. So that was highly criticized by boxing, because it's seen as, you're organizing these events, so essentially it's like you're almost a promoter, and then you seem so emotionally attached to certain outcomes. You seem so vested in wanting certain guys to win. So ideas of favoritism and bias and potentially bad scorecards or egregious decision. Like, if the organizer of the event in the kingdom is having a fight, and let's say it's Better Be of Bivol, and Turki wants a trilogy, that's what he prefers. If the fight is close, they're going to give it to Dimitri Bivol, which is exactly what happened. Some people thought Better Be won that second fight too. A lot of people aren't talking about that, right? Or if Hamza Shiraz didn't do such a bad job of making it competitive, they were going to rob Carlos Adames. However, he lost so bad that the best they could do to save face was to score the draw, which is still an outrage, because again, you got a winner and a loser, and a lot of times it's easy to tell who was who. The same thing happened with F.A. Ajagba and Martin Bakole. It's like you save Martin Bakole from receiving a second loss back to back. He very well, I watched the fight, I scored the fight. F.A. Ajagba definitely beat him. But since you pulled him for the Joseph Parker fight and he got sparked out, you hurt his career. I've already went over that. And then now you put him in with F.A. Ajagba, and he really should have lost that fight, which would have been 2 back-to-back losses. But again, they scored it a draw. So this is becoming a recurring issue where Turki is kind of meddling with the outcomes, and some of these outcomes are starting to look real sketch. Like September, if Crawford and Canelo is a very close fight, Turki, if you look at his post, he says, you know who I'm rocking with. He didn't say the words rocking with, but he said, you know who I'm with. And I'm pretty sure he's referring to Terrence Crawford. So we know Terrence Crawford, you like him, you want him to do well, that's your boy, blah, blah, blah. So if the fight is extremely close, Canelo, he's so foolish, he might get robbed if it goes like that. I don't trust nothing when I'm being showed that politics are still very much alive in the world of boxing. So now that Roelly came out and revealed this with Ryan Garcia, it kind of leaves a sour taste in your mouth, because it's like, if Turki doesn't get his way, he's going to try to, like, you should become a boxing coach then. If you're going to just keep getting up and going to people's corners, and see, this is the thing, because I actually cover boxing with integrity. There's a lot of people that Turki has like infiltrated or bought, and they sold out. They're not going to say these things because they're liars and they lack integrity. I've been to matches, several matches, covered them live in the flesh. You are not permitted to scream instructions at the fighters because you're on their team. I've seen it time and time again where this has occurred, and a member of the team is basically trying to coach from the sidelines, and the commission will be like, you'll get removed if you don't stop. And then they calm them down and say, you're not the coach, you got to fall back, basically. But when you're the organizer of the whole event, I guess you could just do whatever you want when you want. And it's like, who's going to say something because so-and-so is keeping the lights on? And that in and of itself becomes a conflict of interest. If you want to be a coach, you should be a coach and do that. But I don't think the organizer and the promoter of the event should be so heavily involved in the outcome. And this is what happens when you also have bad matchmaking. Turki has all these ideas like, yo, let's put the fight in the middle of the street. Fail. Let's announce Haney Garcia part 2 or rematch, but let's put these obstacles in interim fights in front of them. I told you that was a bad idea, and I was right, because Devin looked horrible, and then Ryan actually lost. So the rematch is hurt. So from that perspective, I understand Turki's probably trying to motivate Ryan because Devin at least won. So he makes it to the rematch. And then you have this big rematch on the line, and Turki was probably mad that Ryan was performing how he was performing. So he's like, what are you doing? Throw some more punches. But again, despite the actual like integrity of it and the conflict of interest angle, despite that, it's like it shows me you don't know boxing like that. Because what will Turki be able to do if Ryan got clocked and dropped with 2 hard lefts, and now he's hesitant to commit because he don't want to get knocked out or dropped again or embarrassed because Roelly got real cracks, right? Even Turki doing that, what do you think you're going to do to probably late in the fight turn everything around with a pep talk from the sideline and get Hamza Shiraz to all of a sudden start beating Carlos Adames or pull out a stoppage, or get Ryan Garcia to all of a sudden fight with some vigor after he's getting hurt in the fight? Like, so it really doesn't even make sense to be coaching like that.